That's right, Bruce. There is no erosion here. Fortunately, the waves that were forecasted to be 10 feet are half of that. There's a buoy that's 2,000 feet right off of Guana, and there the waves are 4 feet. The one further out is only 5 feet. So the beach has weathered these waves. In fact, the waves are smaller this morning than yesterday. Here's visual proof. These lines, these are what are called rack lines. These are the debris lines from yesterday evening's high tide. You can see the water pushed all the way up there. Take a look at where the water is right now. We've already passed this morning's high tide, which was at 6:22. And you can see that here I'm standing on the berm, the flat part of the beach. The water is not even getting up to the berm crest. So usually when you get erosion, you can get in an escarpment, and we're not seeing any of those little mini cliffs along the beach. Furthermore, the beach is intact. None of that water rushed up to the dune toe. That's where you get the protection from keeping water from intruding and inundating homes behind there. So obviously the beach has done pretty well. There are still the rip currents out here. Now, to be a trained beachcomber or in a swimmer, you want to look for certain features to find the rips. One clue is here. This is where the swash comes up and gets behind the berm. It creates a washout channel. Sometimes, especially in beaches like Costa Rica and California, these washout channels can create strong suctions out. Here, they create mild rip currents, but this would be a zone where you would want to avoid swimming. So when you see water washing out, it's going out, and there's going to be a little bit of a current. And like I said earlier, look for a depression in the impact zone. That's usually where waves are not breaking and water is rushing out. That's probably not a safe place to swim. So those are some features here. Obviously, the beach is doing fine. The waves are half the size as forecast, but they're still rough for swimmers, and they're still pretty decent for surfers. We have a northeast swell from the winds that were very strong yesterday at 20 knots. That pushed that water higher up along the beach. Today, the winds are more northerly and they're lighter, so we're not getting that water rushing up. But it's also making the surf a little junky this morning. It's a combo swell and it's not super clean. But coming up at 9 o'clock, we're going to take a trip down there to the pier. We're going to do a visual surf check. So if you are a surfer, we'll have eyeballs on the lineup coming up. See you then.
Hey, Mark, before you go, let me ask you a quick question. You know, Nassau County, Nassau beaches, they just had the beach replenishment. And as you go south, they rebuilt the St. Augustine Pier. You've had problems at the Flagler Pier. Did the rest of the Northeast Florida coast fare as well?
So they did the renourishment a year ago. There was $30 million to put about 10 miles of sand on the beach. There were 1 million cubic meters of sand dumped on the beach. That's like 1 million pickup truck sized piles of sand on the beach. That's money well spent because it protects the homes behind it, and that sand is still on the beach. This is not an event that is causing erosion. In fact, hurricanes are usually quick hit and go. Long-term nor'easters remove more cubic volume of sand than hurricanes. Now, when you see beach erosion from hurricanes, it's usually because the storm surge inundates the dune, water collects behind the dune, and then it rushes out and creates these swash channels, which evacuates all the sand, and that causes a lot of erosion. And in fact, here in Florida, there are many historical cuts, including John's Pass, which was an inlet created by hurricanes. We're not seeing those type of conditions here today, Bruce.
Good news, because it's very early in hurricane season. Some good info, Mark. Thanks much.
Right. Yep.